Hey, this is Sam Black with my second match with Bedlam Reveler Prowess-y nonsense. I'm on the play, and I would need to have a lot of faith in Taxian Probe to find a red mana to keep this hand. I think I'm going to send it back, especially since the second Reveler is not exactly a mulligan because of the Faithless Looting, but not a great, and I need to have a red mana here. This I can keep. Do I want Sleight of Hand to be the top card of my deck? My plan is to play Island and Thought Scour, and I guess I'm as happy to put a Sleight of Hand into my graveyard as anything else. It's not a Faithless Looting, but it is a sorcery, so it makes Bedlam Reveler cheaper and is something that Pyromancer Ascension is happy to have there. So I'll put this on top, and I guess I'll pass. Scour myself. Swiss Spear, Sleight of Hand. Wanna get a mountain and play the Manamorphose. Not sure what colors I need. I'm gonna get red because an ideal turn here is Swift Spear Bolt. Alright, delay to Sleight of Hand, that's fine. So this Sleight of Hand is spell 5 for Bedlam Reveler. That's probably going to name Lightning Bolt. At least that's what I would name given what I've seen. Searing Blaze. Alright, well, that's a lot better for me than if it had named Bolt. If it had named Bolt, I would have no way to kill it. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to Sleight of Hand before cracking this. Well, no, I want a Thin, and I'm probably going to be able to find a spell. I can pay the 2 life, it doesn't really matter. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I take the Probe, it's enough for the Reveler anyway. And it would potentially let me draw into another spell, but... And it puts a Probe in my graveyard? I already have a Thought Scour in my graveyard. Sure, I'll take the Probe. The other spell is potentially another damage, so I'll just pay some life here. That is a lot of Path Exiles. And a Meddling Mage and a Phantasmal Image. Alright, well. Meddling Mage, Phantasmal Image. So my opponent's just trying to Meddling Mage everything. That could be a problem for me. Phantasmal Image on Bedlam Reveler is also kind of scary. I guess I'd be fine with my opponent discarding their hand at this point. Right things getting Meddling Maged could be a real problem for me, though. Please don't name Bedlam Reveler. Be very surprised if you do. No! No! That's actually Bedlam Reveler! Oh, that's so bad for me. Now I need to draw a bolt for this Meddling Mage if my opponent doesn't Meddling Mage bolt. If my opponent does Meddling Mage bolt, then I don't really know how I'm going to get out of it. Like, I need to win with Pyromancer Ascension at that point, but I don't really think that I realistically have time to, like, draw Pyromancer Ascension and go off with it. This has to name Lightning Bolt. Yeah, named Lightning Bolt. I am in big trouble. I guess I need to draw Faithful Suiting into Ascension into like a string of cantrips. I'm dead. Alright, let's get Grape Shot and Harvest Pyre in here for sure. And I probably want Thing in the Ice against any creature deck, even if my opponent had a bunch of paths. My opponent's spells seemed cheaper, so I don't know that I want Remand. If my opponent knows to name Reveler, I probably don't need as many of them. My opponent didn't see the Pyromancer Ascension thing, so I think I can stick with that. Fewer Revelers means that I probably need fewer lootings. And tempted to trim a Swift Spear, but it's probably wrong. Tempted to trim a land, but that's probably wrong. But I think I might do that anyway. I guess I'll just cut another looting. Don't feel great about that. The looting seemed pretty good with Thing in the Ice. I almost sideboarded a bunch of electrolyzes. I wish I had done that. If I'm going to be playing against Meddling Mage the deck. This looks great. I guess I could have led by paying 2 life to probe there, but it's probably better to see if I hit a probe with my Thought Scour. I guess there's also an argument for playing the Flooded Strand instead of the Steam Vents. I was thinking that I knew that I wanted to pay 2 life to the Steam Vents, so I should just do it now and have both colors, but thinning the deck earlier might have actually been the stronger argument. Hit my 1 Faithless Looting. Just gonna get Pesky Island with this. I'll hold on to the probe because I can cast the Thought Scour. I can also use the probe to immediately draw a card that I scry to the top with Serum Visions. Searing Blaze again. Metamorphosis is a very good draw. So I'm gonna Thought Scour myself. Counter. And I hit Sleight of Hand. So I can turn on my Pyromancer Ascension by paying 2 life for Noxious Revival to put Thought Scour on top, and then paying 2 life for Probe to draw the Thought Scour. And then I can pay a mana to Thought Scour, and then Pyromancer Ascension will be on, and I can pay another mana to Serum Visions. The problem with that line is that it uses my Noxious Revival, which means that I can't use my Noxious Revival to loop the Metamorphose. I'd have to find another Noxious Revival to do that. I do have another Noxious Revival in my deck, though. Alternatively, I can just cast things and hope to find the right stuff. Tempted to just lead with the Serum Visions. After fetching with the Bloodstained Mire. Don't know what's right for sure. It's pretty likely that I could go off the next turn if my opponent doesn't answer Pyromancer Ascension if I just do it. Like, I have a Manamorphose and get Divisions twice and have 4 mana and an Ascension. And a Looting in my graveyard. It's pretty hard to imagine not going off if I do that. Unless my opponent Meddling Mage's Manamorphose, which I guess is entirely possible. I don't know. I'm getting an extra survival with Thought Scour. I'm gonna probe. Reflector Mage and Eternal Witness, so nothing that matters. Scour my... Maybe I'm supposed to scour my opponent at this point. I really don't want to mill my other Noxious Revival. Yeah, I think I scour my opponent because my Ascension's going to be on anyway. Forgot that my opponent has a Witness in hand, but I don't really think that my opponent has time to punish me. If my opponent plays Witness next turn, that's fine. I'd probably just go off the next turn. I don't care about playing Swift Spear this turn. Much better not to. Particularly given Reflector Mage. Bottom, top. Those are both quite good, I think. Top. I could draw both of them with the Faithless, with the Probe now, but I think it's better to wait. Really bad for me. Waiting is really bad for me if my opponent kills my Pyromancer Ascension, but given that I know my opponent's hand and that my opponent didn't actually see Ascension last game, I think it's extremely unlikely that my opponent's just going to draw a removal spell for Ascension. Witness Ghost Quarter. My opponent's serious about this plan. I am out of basics after this. Okay. Wait. I thought I put Thing in the Ice on top. Oh, that's weird. What does Magic Online say I did? Top. No, it says I put a card on the bottom. Right, I guess I bottomed the Thing in the Ice. That's fine. So, Swift Spear first. And I guess I'll pay life to probe. Metamorphoses. Always yes, always yield. Blue, red. Blue, red. It's more Thing in the Ice than I need at this point. Tempted to Faithless Looting to try to find another Manamorphose. Costs a lot of mana. I'll just Thought Scour. think my opponent's far enough behind at this point that I'm good. It's unlikely that that thing is going to name Harvest Pyre. Probably should have named Faithless Looting since my opponent knows I have this, and this deals with these things anyway. Alright, this time that works. Okay, let's decide if I want another thing in the ice. Opponent's at 9, so the answer is probably not. Well, yeah, not yet. Okay, so now I can Harvest Pyre. Alright, well, that worked. Now that my opponent's seen all that, don't want to do anything different. I'd say maybe cut an Ascension, but my opponent had a pretty robust anti-creature plan with Path and Reflector Mage. I'm on the draw. Could cut a land. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna cut a fetch land of some sort for Faithless Looting. This looks good. probably obligated to lightning bolt that. That's really annoying. I'm actually going to sleight of hand rather than lightning bolting it, since the lightning bolt turns on the Ascension. I'm going to have real problems if I get meddling maged here, since it would probably name lightning bolt, and it's going to be very difficult to beat Thalia without lightning bolt. But if my opponent doesn't meddling mage, then I can Scalding Tarn, Pyromancer, Ascension, and the next turn pay 2 mana to lightning bolt, and then 1 mana to sleight of hand. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, 3 mana to Ascension, next mana 2 mana to bolt, and then 1 mana to bolt something else, and then double sleight of hand. Okay. This first. And then this. And I'll get Island, copy a sleight of hand. Take Noxious Revival, I guess. Take Thing in the Ice. Okay, so I think I just play my creatures. Swiftspear, Swiftspear, attack with both of them. Thing in the Ice. respond to that with Noxious Revival. Okay, good. Yeah, Lightning Bolt's gone, that doesn't matter. Ooh, okay, good. Tapped I can deal with. My upkeep, please. Need to build a storm count. Ooh, I would like both of them. Now that you mention it, that sounds great. Oh man, Probe. Probe might be better, although going to 2 isn't really the best. Yeah, I'm gonna take the sleight of hand. And let's cast the sleight of hand? I don't know. Yep, I think this is where I want to spend my life. Well, if I'm spending it on the Steam Vents, I can't spend it on the Probe. But I can spend it on the Probe instead of the Steam Vents. No, I think I just want to have the Reveler. It's not easy to empty my hand, but if I do, that's something I'm going to want. Okay, so now if I play another spell, the thing is going to bounce my Swift Spears. So I think I want to start by attacking with them. And now I want to play another spell. Bottom both of those, I guess. Bottom this. Top this, I guess. Swift Spear, and I'm just going to play this tapped. Meddling Mage is fine. Grape Shot can get me out of it. Can't imagine my opponent naming Grape Shot. Metamorphose is a reasonable choice. That is what I'm looking for. Okay, so now my opponent's at 8. I think this is good. I wonder if I'm supposed to... No? Alright, I'm not going to be able to Metamorphose this turn. That's not what I'm trying to do. So let's just sleight of hand. Pay 2 more life. My opponent's hand is a witness. Serum Visions. Don't want these. Looking for Sulfur Falls exactly, ideally. Don't have the life for this. Oh, but I drew Sulfur Falls. Now I can Faithless Looting. And now I can Grape Shot. I want to kill the ooze first. Bird. Yes. One to the player. One to the Meddling Mage. one of the meddling mage, one of the ooze, one of the ooze, then one of the mage, then another one of the player. Okay, we got it. That took quite a while, but it worked out.